Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of the Privacy Rules Privacy Espresso series, a series where we delve into the latest news on privacy, data protection, and cybersecurity from all over the world. We do this together with the members of the Privacy Rules Alliance, a global alliance spanning on about 60 countries all over the world, but also with guest speaker, which is the case of today. I'm really delighted to introduce you all to Muneeb Imran from the Middle East, in particular Saudi Arabia. Where he is an expert in cybersecurity, data protection, and AI, with more than 50 years of experience in the sector. And the reason why we are having him with us today is to discuss a relevant topic. Actually, this is the third occasion that we have to speak with him. We have been speaking in general about ethical AI and governance in the previous two episodes that I really invite you to watch because they are all connected. We have been discussing about legitimacy and transparency in AI in the first case. We have been speaking about AI governance and in particular on the dynamics of justice and fairness in the second case. And today we go to the last topic that we wanted to address together, which is how to establish an AI governance function in an organization. So let's say we've been making a travel and a trip around AI and the usage of the AI within organization, which are the main issues, which are key topics to address. And then we see how to use it thanks to the experience of Muneeb. So first of all, Muneeb, thanks a lot for being with us today. It's a pleasure to have you also in this third episode of our series.
Thank you so much. Pleasure is all mine. I'm really glad to be back to discuss the very important topic about how to establish the AI governance within an organization.
Okay, so let's start, broadly. We said we're going to speak about AI governance. So, which are the core components of an AI governance model in your opinion and in your experience, Muneeb?
So I see there are 4 to 5 components that are extremely important. And I don't want to sound too cliched, but again, this is extremely important where we talk about having or setting the tone at the top. This is extremely important. Now, you can set the tone at the top at the board level, but let's say if there is no oversight mechanism, if there is an improper oversight mechanism, then whatever ethical AI values or whatever ethical values that your organization espouses, that will remain a dream. So you need to have an oversight mechanism where AI governance is looked after. Then after that, there has to be, it is critical where AI governance as a functional unit is placed within the organizational hierarchy. Because if it is placed too below, if it is too beneath the surface, then it may not be able to deliver the benefits. Even it may not get the necessary attention at the board level or at the senior executive management level. So this is a second component which is extremely important because whether a functional unit is really delivering the expected objectives, that that can only be determined if there is sufficient oversight at the management and at the board level. The third thing which I believe is extremely important is to have an effective AI governance program. Now, when we talk about the effective AI governance program, it means that the entire AI governance, it has to be driven by a specific set of policies and the frameworks, because they provide the edifice based on which your entire AI governance as a function is going to operate. And the last but not the least, I believe is extremely important, is the competent resource. And when I talk about the competent resource, it means that it's not just about people coming from the technical background. I think when it comes to, and we have seen this even with privacy, and I believe it's extremely important even for the AI governance, that people who operate into the field of AI governance, they need to have a much broader and a cross-functional understanding of multiple fields. I mean, they should be able to understand fields like information security, IT, software development, project management, data protection, significant understanding of the social sciences. That's extremely important because the ethical values, you cannot safeguard the ethical values if you are very poor in understanding the social sciences. And then also having a legal understanding, how the national laws are framed, how the regulations are framed, how it is all connected with the societal values, how it's connected with the economy. So it's extremely important that whoever is working in the field of AI governance, they need to have a much broader and a cross-functional understanding of all these fields in order to really make sure that the ethical values that are espoused by the organization, they are really cemented into the entire organization itself.
It's very clear that it's also something very much related to the humans that are behind, or the professional, the experts that are behind AI under all the various perspectives. You've been mentioning the need for an effective oversight at the management level, but on the other side also the need of people that are true experts, not just about one specific sector, but that can span in different sectors and are able to understand others. You were mentioning the legal one, as well as of course AI, security. There are so many things that are connected all together, which makes this sector and this topic very complex, but on the other side, which makes needed having certain type of experts. On this specific point, who should be involved in your opinion, and what type of roles are the ones that should be activated, let's say, in the oversight of AI application within the organization?
So are you asking about the people who should be in charge of implementing the AI governance, or the people who can work along as the AI governance as the necessary stakeholders? We can cover both of these.
Actually, both. I believe it's okay. Relevant to have a view of both sides. Indeed,
it's a tough one. Identifying the stakeholders is easy because I see people from risk management. It absolutely needs to be integrated with the risk management, with the compliance function. I see that AI governance has to sit somewhere at the second line of defense, bare minimum, because it won't be able to add value if it's not at the second line of defense. People from risk management, compliance management, let's say if you have the ethics office, those people are extremely important. The other stakeholders that could be extremely important could be the ones from the ones that they control the data and the IT infrastructure, information security, in order to make sure that all the security aspects associated with AI are well looked after. Now, when it comes to whether to have a standalone AI function or to have it as an additional responsibility within the organization, it's a tough one. And I believe that it all goes back to the size of the organization and the resources that they can allocate. I feel that privacy folks are very closely aligned to that one, because if AI harms materialize, so one of the harms could be a privacy harm as a result of the AI. So privacy folks could be the one that could be looking after the AI governance. They could be the ones to implement AI governance. However, if an organization is significantly huge, where this segregation is extremely important, over there, yes, AI could be separated and it could have an identity of its own. But for organizations that are small, or those who are still, in the infancy stage, I believe for them it could be coupled along with privacy.
You mentioned also in the question before that there is some sort of connection between privacy and AI, not just in terms of sectors that are close, because as you were rightly saying, one of the main harms that you can make through AI is indeed to the privacy and the data of the people. But there are a lot of similarity that we have been witnessing and discussing also in the past session in relation to how to manage AI, meaning that the experience made in the privacy sector is often very similar. The approach of privacy by design is the one that comes, many times, is exactly the same for AI. So probably, I totally agree, and I wanted just to reinforce the point that privacy folks are probably people that also understand which is the best approach on AI-related matters. The other question I wanted to ask you is related to, the various teams that are inside the company. There will be probably an AI governance team and development team in relation to developing the entire AI lifecycle, let's say. So what's the best way to do this, to develop this AI lifecycle through the various teams that are internal to a company?
So I think we can take a leaf out of the book of privacy by design. Effectively, the same mechanism has to be implemented over here, where your AI governance requirements have to be blended, you have to essentially create hooks and triggers within the software development lifecycle or within your project management lifecycle. So either you will be developing an AI solution in-house, or you will be procuring an AI solution from outside. Okay, so in either of these cases, so this is something that I call systems development life cycle rather than a software development life cycle. So when you talk about system is a very broad term. AI could be one system. So right from the time of conceiving it as an idea and taking it down to the point where you plug that system into your organizational production line, there are various checkpoints in between, starting from identifying the requirements. That is where you identify what could be the AI governance requirements. And then when it comes to the design, at the design phase, you must be able to carry out a thorough AI risk assessment. Once those things are identified, the risks are identified and the controls are proposed, those things could be taken into the design phase. That's where these could be critical inputs to make sure that the development team incorporates those requirements. And then before you plug something into the production line, the moment you begin to attach that to your production line, that is where there has to be a testing and the validation phase that must be concluded by the AI governance folks before they give the green light to put something into the production. That's how I see the integration of AI within the existing organizational framework around development teams.
Another point that always is raised whenever we speak about AI and AI governance is its relation with the corporate risk. How do you see the AI governance and the corporate risk frameworks to merge, let's say, or how can we align them?
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful question, and there's a saying in English that out of sight and out of mind. So, if AI is going to be out of sight, it's going to be out of mind, and all the values that you have been basically professing upon, they will automatically take a backseat. So what's important is that the AI governance folks should be able to knit a mechanism which is very well knitted with the enterprise risk management function, which means that your AI risk management frameworks should be integrated with the enterprise risk management framework. Now, when I say that, what does it mean? It means that whatever AI-related risks are identified, and if those risks are beyond the organizational appetite, then the enterprise risk management must be aware about that, because enterprise risk management is also reporting risks above the appetite level to the management, to the senior management and the board level. That's the point from where you get the wings to fly high and reach to the folks sitting at the upper or at the higher echelons of the organization, meaning at the board or at the management level. And then there should be relevant KRIs associated with the AI risks. There should be risk appetite statements, which should be monitored by the enterprise risk management. So that's how I believe you can integrate the AI risks within the organizational corporate risk management framework or the enterprise risk management framework. Otherwise, if it operates in an isolation, you would never be able to reap the benefits, or you would never be able to benefit from the dividends of the AI governance.
Listening to you, I was thinking how this close the picture that we were depicting, let's say, at the beginning of our call. We were saying, you need the proper people, the proper experts, you need the resources, but then you also need a good communication at the higher level with the management to make sure that every decision is taken together, step by step. I believe these close our discussion of today. Is there any other point or any other tip very quickly that you would like to give us, our audience?
I would just like to reinforce that we have to shift our lens and start seeing it not just as a technological problem, or not as a technological challenge. We have to start seeing it as a socio-technical system, which means that you need to have a broader understanding, a more cross-functional understanding, and a systems thinking, which is extremely important to make sure that we are able to reap benefits out of AI governance.
Perfect. Which brings us back also to our previous session where we were speaking exactly about those things to open. So Muneeb, I would like to thank you very much for being with us, not just once, but 3 times. So 3 times thank you for being with us also today. I would like to thank our audience for following and listening to us, and I invite them to send us questions and comments. We are happy to use them then to get back to Muneeb and the Starbeam again for another piece together. So Muneeb, once again, thank you, and looking looking forward to meet you and all our listeners very soon again. Bye, everyone.